In the Fuzzy Memories podcast, we celebrate the good, the rad, and the fugly of the 80s and 90s.
We're three latchkey kids who made it out alive.
And in each episode, we break down all the culture that popped, 1 year at a time.
Whether it's the birth of legends...
I'm Lyme disease free today, and I have Whitney Houston and MTV to thank. Or audacious moves.
Imagine also the poor Golden Gate Bridge. You turn 75 and people have a party on you.
Yep. I don't want that.
Or even confusing PSAs.
And the stop, drop, and roll. I mean, I assumed as an adult I would catch on fire weekly.
All the time!
We've got a take that will make you laugh.
We've also got thoughts on all sorts of random phenomena and the most unmitigated of golf.
Why sharks can't be trusted, people can't be trusted, and rivers can't be trusted. It's collusion.
It's of the highest degree.
Uh-huh.
You were counseling me to start my remarks with, first of all, bitch.
Everyone in that room would have snapped to attention.
It's going to be basically coffee lids, shark revenge, and then maybe like Matt Getz. God, we need to do something about him.
Join us every other Wednesday to celebrate the hits, the misses, and the misfits of the weirdest decades.
If I could tell my 14-year-old self from 1990 that I would be eating in a Cheesecake Factory in
Beverly Hills,
I'd be like, we did it. We did it, Joe.
We did it.
Listen and subscribe to Fuzzy Memories on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform.
Welcome to Broads and Books, the podcast with one unique theme, 4 handpicked book recommendations, and 2 broads. I'm Amy.
And I'm Erin, and this is episode number 23. We are family.
Since we didn't use words, it's going to be fine, right?
Right,
We just
yeah.
did the beating.
I don't
and the
think
dancing.
anyone could claim that was close to the original.
No one knows what we were singing just then.
Weird mouth noises.
It's like throat singing of some sort. So our theme this week is about family, but it's also about family gatherings gone awry.
Yes.
You know, there's a
Off the
truth.
rails.
There's a truth that may be true, which is
There's a truth that may be true. Okay.
when family gets together, weird things happen.
They do. That's true.
Yeah.
That is a truth that may be
That
true.
is a truth. That is in fact true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what we're talking about.
That's
this
what we
week.
hit on. Because this is the time of year people are having family reunions.
Yes.
They're visiting family.
They're
going on little summer vacations with their family.
Yes.
And here we are talking about
We are.
families.
Yeah.
Getting
And,
weird.
some of the things that we've picked today, those family gatherings, they do go awry.
Very awry.
Off the rails,
Off of-
as you
just
might say.
off.
Yes.
So, thinking of family gatherings,
Yes.
and families,
Yeah.
is there like a TV or a movie family that you would want to go to a gathering with?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I would want to see the family from Back to the Future because I imagine some of the conversations are real weird. Like, oh, hey, remember when you went back to 1955 and you hit on your mom because you didn't know it was your mom? Let's talk about that. Remember when your mom was hot after you for like a good amount of time and then she got with your dad. Oh, but after she made out with you. Oh, that's fine. Let's talk about that.
So you're gonna stir a lot of shit at this family reunion.
Yes, I
Okay,
will.
I like it.
Because, a lot of the family members don't know all that. They don't know about his Back to the Future. But me, being a repeat viewer of all the Back to the Futures, I could fill them in on some stuff and stir that shit.
And they'd want to be like, no, that's not true. But then there'd be something in the back of
There'd
their
be
head.
something in the back of their
like,
head. They'd be like, wait a minute, Calvin Klein. Oh, yeah, that was Marty that was
no.
McFly. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I want to
So
do.
you kind of have a nefarious reason for
I
going.
do. What I would really want to do is just go and observe at first. But if they don't seem to be understanding all of the things they should be talking about.
They're just like happily eating coleslaw.
Oh, look
You're
how
gonna-
happy we are.
No.
No.
Done.
Yeah. Remember
Get
that
outta here.
alternate 1985? Let's talk about that one.
Let's get into it. I like it.
What about you, Erin? Do you have a movie or TV family that you love that you would want to see a reunion of?
Yes. I was obsessed with Bewitched.
Oh.
Like the old
Wow.
version. Yeah. With
Okay.
Darren and Samantha,
Yeah.
Tabitha.
Mm-hmm.
I loved them so much.
Okay.
And I have no real reason other than I think I just was obsessed with this idea that you could twitch your nose and make everything happen. That seemed
Sure.
very convenient.
Yeah.
I also kind of liked the role in that family that Samantha was always saving Darren. Like Darren was kind of
Gender
bumbling.
flip.
Yeah.
Yes.
And was always like,
I like
I'm going
that.
to lose my job. And Samantha was like, no
Wrinkle
problem.
her
Click,
nose.
click. Yep. Perfect ad campaign. Done. And then their daughter Tabitha came along and was real early on, figured it out too, and was just like, boop, boop, made myself a friend.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That is a nice,
Kind of liked the self-sufficiency.
So where do you think they would be by reunion time now? Like, would it be a good reunion? Would it be a, weird
Gosh.
reunion?
I think it would have to be weird,
Yeah,
right?
there'd be a lot of nose twitching, right?
Yeah, a lot
Because
of
Darren
nose
would
twitching.
really F up somehow.
Yes,
And,
yeah. He'd be like, you were on that? We
Yeah.
didn't want chicken?
Right.
Like, yeah. So we'd be twitching noses.
Or
and
he'd
getting
bring
into-
up these things, between spouses. You're not supposed to talk about things to other
yeah.
people, and he'd be bringing those things up.
Or we could bring up the fact that there was like 3 different Darrens. Like, we're all calling you Darren,
Exactly.
but
Why do you look so different?
all 3 versions of you looked real different.
Does that mean I cheated on you?
You have a type, and his name is Darren.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, by now Tabitha would be older. I'd like to see her kids.
Sure.
Who'd she end up with?
Yeah. Is Tabitha redheaded? There was a redhead on Bewitched that I remember some kid in high school called me, and I had no context for it, but I was getting the impression it was not a great comparison. So nothing, none of that's
I don't remember
registering.
Tabitha specifically being redheaded.
Okay.
No.
I don't know who it was, but he was trying in a
Well, there
weird
was
way
a-
to get at me.
Samantha's mom was redheaded.
I think that may be who it was.
With the grandma, but she
Yeah.
was like a real fun young I had a lot of men she dated.
Oh, so
Yeah.
he was calling me a slut.
In a very weird way.
Like an old grandma slut.
Like you had to go home and watch Nick at Night to understand that insult. And even then, you might have just been like, "That's cool."
I would have
She
been like,
wears really
hey.
cool, weird,
Yeah.
cool house robe things.
and she dates a lot of men. Who cares? I
awesome
love it.
jewelry. She comes in, she's real sassy to Darren.
Oh.
She's like, "You're an idiot. My daughter's amazing. Out."
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that guy was trying to insult me, and guess what?
Guess what?
Backfired.
Backfire. Yeah, get better insults. What are you doing? That just proves that you watched Bewitched a lot.
It does.
Because she's not in every episode.
And you're a teenage boy watching Bewitched.
Yeah. She's not in every episode either. She's not a main character.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a reach.
Yeah. That was revealing about him.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring him to the reunion. Be like, look what you did. This is weird. I hope this is weird for you.
Can't wait.
So, I mean, that would be weird. The Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Which should
yeah,
be
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Hey, what's the weirdest family tradition you've ever heard of?
So,
Oh.
back in Chicago, I knew a man who will remain unnamed. He was originally from Turkey. And he
Can
told...
we call him John Doe?
Let's call him John Doe.
Okay, perfect.
Turkish John Doe.
Oh.
And so John, apparently there was a family tradition that when you're around 7 or 8 and you're a boy, you get to have a big birthday party.
Okay.
And, you have this big extended family there. They're at the birthday party. He's real excited. They're giving him cake and presents and all that stuff. And then a dude comes out with some scissors. He's like, wait a second. Oh, shit. I forgot there's a circumcision as part of this birthday party.
When you're 7?
Yep. So then part of the tradition is he realizes this and he runs for it. He runs away from the party, and then the guy with the scissors runs after him. Oh, let's catch him. Let's catch him. And then they catch him, they snip, and the party's done.
They snip in front of everyone?
Yeah.
Like everyone sees this happen.
I think so.
So everyone sees 7 or 8-year-old
Just bawling his eyes out.
getting snipped.
Yes. But what always was interesting in his retelling of this story was that sense of betrayal, where he was just like, he's like, everybody loves me. This is so great. Oh, wait. No, they're going to cut at my penis.
Do you think that he would carry that tradition to his kids?
That's a great question. I think this was a combination of, it wasn't necessarily just a Turkish thing. It was a cultural and a religious thing. It was some very specific subset of a tradition.
Okay.
I think he had moved past this.
Okay.
And judging by the trauma that came out in his voice every time he talked about it, he's like, I think I'm gonna pass on that one.
I feel so bad.
I know.
Birthday parties must be really loaded with
Oh
a
my
lot of
God.
baggage for him.
And I think it was at a birthday that he told us about it.
Okay. John, don't. That's a party foul, okay? I get you have some trauma, but that's like a quiet dinner conversation, not like, oh, you have a cake? That's good because I got scissors. I got scissors to my swimsuit area.
It's almost like he was testing the waters. Like, you guys aren't doing this, right? Like, this is a real birthday party? Like, this is for real? Yeah.
No, we're going to finish what you didn't let.
We're going to chase you.
Yeah.
You get a 10-second head start. Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, so that was, that was a good one.
So did you promptly say, hey, for Halloween, we should go as scissors? No.
No, I did not.
Not a jerk.
No,
Okay.
I think I was so traumatized by that story too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, no, I'm not even going to joke about it.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
good. That's nice of you.
Well, I'm different now. I'm joking about it a lot and talking about it on podcasts.
He's not here. I mean, maybe you'll hear
It's
it.
gotten funnier over time to myself.
Yeah. Hopefully it has for him too.
I hope so. I'm sure he's a well-adjusted man now.
I just pictured him at one of those store openings with like big scissors. Just a cold sweat. Just beaded up everywhere.
That's a good point. Even like some, I bet he can't use nose scissors or anything like that, because he's just like, oh. I wonder if he can even use razors or anything.
He can't wrap presents. He just gets all with gift bags. Sorry, I'm only a gift bag person. No wrapping for me.
He can't do that scissor trick with the ribbon.
No,
because no.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
No.
Yeah. Huh. On that note,
Wow,
do
okay.
you have any traditions with your family that you enjoy?
I do. You know what? We the one that I really, really like is that every Sunday everybody comes to our house and we have Sunday dinner, like family dinner, but which is great. And that's kind of like our all year tradition. But we have one specific one on Christmas Eve that gets cutthroat. I'm not going to lie.
Ooh.
But we have a gingerbread house making competition.
Oh boy.
Every year.
Okay.
And they're in pairs. We pair up, and then we have judged it multiple different ways. Like somebody sits out and judges it. We've done a Facebook poll, but no matter what we do, it gets intense. There's always icing that's stolen. There's candies that are claimed. It is cutthroat.
Wow, this is like British Bake Off or something.
Yeah, they get mad at each other. Like, I'm terrible at it, so no one ever sees me as a threat. My house is usually, one year it all fell in, and I just tried to pretend it was a garage opening. Yeah. Varying degrees of seriousness, and Mike is always very technical, as you can imagine.
Sure.
So his have like very intricate like chimneys and
Oh,
all
my
kinds of
goodness.
specialty things. Yeah, and he's also very, very meticulous. So his are
So 2 questions. One, is there a long-running champion that always wins?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Mike? Mm-hmm. 2, what does the champion win?
A medal / trophy of our choosing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what does Mike display these medals / trophies?
It's in my office now because we usually change like the little, it's like a sticker we put on it each year. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's a deal. I mean, it gets serious. It's intense.
So have the kids now, they've seen Mike and they're like, we're taking him down.
Yeah.
At some point we're going to take
Brady's
him
fiance,
down.
Beth in particular, she is
Gunning for him?
competitive at games. And she got smart this year because this last year we did the Facebook poll and she was like lobbying friends and family to vote a certain way. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. I don't think I want to go to your house around that time of year.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just opt out. Like I had Charlie,
good
my
call. Yeah.
3-year-old granddaughter. She was my partner. So you can imagine that we ate half of our candy and then just tried to stick it on randomly when we realized time was running out.
See, that's more fun.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
I like that tradition.
Yeah.
Although it does seem like, Mike's got a monopoly going that may need to topple at some point.
I agree. We
Yeah.
need to pair him up with Charlie because it's an impossibility
The
to make a
3-year-old.
gingerbread house with the child eating the candy. So
I like it. Handicap him in some way.
yeah.
Like,
She was kind of like throwing candy at him towards the
Oh,
end to get his
perfect.
attention,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It can't be normal at our.
Of course
No.
it can't. Well, so thinking about, family gatherings, family reunions, competitions, all the things that can happen when family comes together.
Yes.
We've got some picks that are all around this.
Yeah.
And my first pick is fiction, as we do.
Yes.
This is called The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin from 2018. And the story is set in 1969 in New York City. And there's these 4 young siblings. They're all under the age of 13. And they're hunting for a fortune teller that one of them has heard about. They've heard that this woman can tell the future, specifically when you will die, like date, year, everything down to the, So being as their kids, somehow they're just like, hey, this is kind of cool. Let's try it, not really thinking it through necessarily. So Varia, Daniel, Clara, and Simon track her down. They each get their fortune individually. They each get a date. And then they try to shake it off, like, oh, that was funny. That was crazy, right? They sort of compare what they heard, not totally, not in a lot of detail, but it seeps into them very, very deeply and clearly. So then we start seeing, we jump ahead a few years and the father has died. So they're together again at a family reunion. And the 2 youngest of the siblings, they were both told that they would die young. So they start thinking about their lives and what they want to, even if this doesn't come to pass, they start thinking about what do they want their lives to be? How can we, just in case, let's make our lives count. So they make some rash decisions. They run off to San Francisco, kind of cut ties with the family. They take a lot of risks. They live really hard. They, the other 2, they're told that they'll live longer. And so they take their time. They're more deliberate. They go to school. They go to grad school. They do all this kind of stuff. They become sort of solitary. They may or may not be happy. So the question becomes, like, if each of these kids hadn't heard this fortune, would they have lived their lives the way that they did? And if they didn't, would things have been different? These things that start to haunt you as you keep reading. What I like about this and why I chose it for this theme is it starts with this one family sibling gathering that may sort of F them up for the rest of their lives, really. And these sort of key moments become touchstones when they are together. Their father's death, their own deaths. I love the structure because it takes each sibling and it takes them up to the point at which the fortune teller had predicted what would happen. And we see what happens. We see what decisions were made. We see if things are true or not. It's really well done that way. I like that idea, too, that if we know what will happen, do we sort of make a self-fulfilling prophecy? Do we... Knowing that if I knew I was going to die at 23, would I have gone to college? Would I have done all of these things? It makes you start thinking about some of those things. I love also the family dynamics, all the resentments that can happen between siblings because of childhood and the competitions and all that kind of stuff. But there's also this bond that just never goes away when you grow up as siblings. I like, too, that there's this mystical element, how there is this fortune that may or may not be true, this woman that may or may not have this ability. And it's just really beautiful. It's really haunting and, centered around a family gathering that definitely goes awry.
Wow.
And it impacts the rest of their lives. Boom.
That sounds great.
It was really well done. Like I said, I liked the structure that it took each sibling.
Yeah.
And you just saw what was happening to the family as a whole because of this too.
I was on my list anyway, but you gripped me in even more.
Fantastic.
I like it.
And she kind of ties it to key events, being that it starts in 1969.
Sure.
We go into San Francisco in the late 70s, early 80s during the AIDS crisis. We go to Las Vegas as it's starting to get really sort of crazy, who are the 2 lion guys?
Siegfried and Roy?
Them.
Isn't it a tiger?
Sure. Lion, tigers, same
Bears,
thing.
oh my!
Yes, they're all Podcats related, relatives.
Yeah,
so
honestly.
Think about Podcat reuniting with her family.
Oh, man. I don't know if they can handle that.
No. I saw a video of a mountain lion outside of a sliding glass door in Colorado and a house cat inside, and they were both just sort of scratching at the glass to get to each other. That's what I imagine Podcat would do if she saw a mountain lion.
She's not smart enough to be afraid. No, I shouldn't say not smart enough. She's got enough bravado to just say, I don't care.
Just screw this.
If this is how I'm going down, I'm going down in a blaze of glory.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say not smart enough, for the record.
Don't worry, she's gone.
Okay.
For now. She'll come back.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Yeah. I love that in my office, our studio, Erin is set up so her back is to the door, so she can't see when podcast comes in and
which
out.
I don't know why we did
That is a good point. We didn't set this up right, because now you're just living in fear.
I am.
With
always.
every episode.
Every time I say something, I'm like, is she
always
are her
glancing
eyes
over your shoulder?
boring into my back? And I like that every time I'm here, at some point she lets me know. She just does a random meow and then walks away like, I got my eye on you.
Yeah.
I'm around.
Like, I see you.
I'm around.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
I'm around.
Policing this
Yeah.
joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my castle.
And there will be murder.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, we know. We know, Podcat. We know. Okay, so my pick this week is called The Middlesteins by Jamie Attenberg.
All right.
So this is it was published in January of 2012. It's a quick little read, but it is basically you're watching this crazy family drama unfold with a very planned, very choreographed bat mitzvah dance in the very center of this whole thing.
Oh my.
Yeah.
A
So-
planned, rehearsed dance?
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay.
Yeah. So Edie and Richard have been married for 30 years. They have 2 kids, Robin and Benny, and they're living in Chicago. And basically the story starts with the end of their marriage by Richard's decision. Edie is, we learn pretty quickly not happy, and we learn a lot about her backstory of why, but she's sort of covering this, or the family's assuming she's not happy by her insistence on basically eating herself to death.
Oh.
She's morbidly obese. She's had multiple surgeries. The doctors are saying, no, you have to do this, you have to do this, do this. And she just doesn't, there's no part of her that can care at all. So Richard leaves sort of in this fit of, I want something more, and she's not on board with that. But of course, this tears the 2 kids up. This is right in the middle. Benny has 2 twins that are right at the age that they're planning their bat mitzvah together. And his wife is beside herself that this is happening because she's been planning this party. She hired the kids a dance instructor to do this dance. It's like this family gathering is the center of the story. Is how is this going to happen? How are they going to traverse when Richard gets a new girlfriend? Is she invited? How are they going to deal? Where does Edie sit? But what I love about it is that you dive into each character in a different way, and not really, I don't even want to say fully, because there could be so much more about each one, but enough that you get such a good sense of what they are. And then you watch them all come together at this family gathering. And it's just, you had like the best seat in the house because you're not there, but you're seeing it all happen.
Wonderful.
You don't have to be in the middle of it. And the ending is phenomenal. I loved it. I think that it's like going to a buffet and then finding out that there's like a secret buffet behind it with even better food. That's like what's happening.
Oh my.
It's like awesome, and then there's extra awesome.
Yeah.
So I loved it for that. You could dissect every character very specifically. You could figure out, you can assign them flaws. You can say they're in the wrong. Yeah, it's just like a family drama where people take sides and you're like, you shouldn't be saying that. You shouldn't be doing that. That's what you get wrapped up in because you see things from all sides. So it's funny. It's enthralling. I mean, you'll feel a range of emotions just like most family gatherings.
Yes.
So,
all of the things.
yes, all of the things.
This theme in particular, it felt like I could have chosen a lot of
Yes,
things. Did you? Yeah.
yes.
That I think that this idea of family gatherings is so rife with just
so much
trauma and tension and drama and
yeah, absolutely. And you definitely get that in this book. And it's just a fun read too on top of it because you've got this hilarious dance going on and everybody doing their own thing and their own problems that they're trying to blame other people for, but no introspection. And yeah, it's very interesting, very well done, and just kind of one of those stories that on the face maybe doesn't look like it's, you're just reading a story about a family, but then it kind of sticks with you, and there's really a lot said about the kind of expectations we put on each other in a family and the way that works for us and against us. So yeah, I loved it.
I like reading about this stuff too. I don't know about you because I feel like there's a couple things happening. Like one is, you're feeling a sort of kinship with what's going on. Like, oh my God, yes, I've been in this situation. But then sometimes it's almost like, oh, at least it's not that bad. Right. At least my family is not like this over here. So there's that dual thing going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is very true. That you're like, oh, I can relate to that. And then later you're like, well,
can't relate to that. That's good.
Sucks for you. I'll be over here enjoying my secondary buffet.
I like the idea of a VIP buffet.
Yeah, right?
Like behind a
You're like, oh, these
rope.
watermelon cubes look good. And then they're like, look at this. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
I get my own mini watermelon bowl.
Oh, see, now you're not speaking. I don't like watermelon. So
What?
I know. So the whole idea of melons in a buffet does nothing for me.
I love watermelon so much. I don't know why I went there on a buffet. It's not really a great buffet food. You could buy your own watermelon.
Yeah.
And there's no preparation really besides cutting it. So, yeah, I agree. Terrible VIP item. I retract that.
If there's a VIP buffet, I want some real special shit in
What
there.
do you want on a VIP buffet?
Ooh, that's a great
Talk
question.
to me.
Well, it's all got to be vegan. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So there's going to be vegan desserts galore. I want every single kind of sweet. Really, you don't need anything else. Let's just make it a VIP dessert
buffet. I like it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Oh, I'm excited by this idea.
Okay.
I want that.
Well, in our strip mall,
Yes.
for certain people,
Yeah.
we'll get a ticket, kind of like Willy Wonka. I got a golden ticket, and you get to go to
yes.
the VIP buffet.
Oh my God.
It could be because we like your outfit.
Oh my
It
God,
could be
yeah.
because you said something funny.
Could be because you gave us a review.
It could be because you gave us a review.
Oh.
Could be because you gave us a theme idea. Mm-hmm. Could be because you tripped out front and we feel bad.
Like, we saw how you biffed it out there. We're feeling you.
And we like
Come
that you
on
still
in.
got up and came in here. VIP buffet for you. Get in there.
I don't care if your knees
You
bleeding.
earned it.
Yes.
Get in some of those
We got
desserts.
bandages over there, too.
I think now we have to have watermelon on it just because.
That's fine. I just won't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you don't like as a vegan that surprise me.
I know. Tomatoes.
Carrots.
Yeah. Carrots.
Watermelon.
Really, all the melons. I don't like any melon.
I don't like any other melon besides
Yeah.
watermelon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honeydew. What?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
There's no color. What?
When you get a fruit cup at a restaurant and it's all just a bunch of yellow melon, no. That's gross.
Yeah. You know what else? Fruit cup people. When you put cantaloupe in anything, everything tastes like
It's
cantaloupe.
disgusting.
Even the grapes taste like cantaloupe.
Yes.
Bananas, cantaloupe taste. It's a terrible decision.
Yeah.
Angering, actually, now that I think about it. What a waste.
We won't do that shit at our VIP buffet.
No. If
We
you want
will
a fruit
keep
cup, you
everything
get to
separate.
pick whatever you want in the fruit cup.
Yes.
If that's what you want. I mean, there's desserts, so I can understand that our fruit's probably going bad on this buffet because nobody's picking it. But regardless, you could have it if you wanted it.
I'm glad this is the battle that we chose to fight is, the fruit cup.
I
The
feel
fruit cup, the
comfortable.
battle of the fruit cup.
I feel comfortable with where my flag is planted.
On that note.
Yeah.
Where that flag is planted. So other genre picks
Yeah.
on our theme. I chose a graphic novel. It is called Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples.
Ooh.
This is a long-running series starting in around 2011, 2012. There's been 56 issues collected in 3 big volumes, and there's another 56 coming. They've announced how long this thing will be. Okay. So when they say it's a saga, it is a saga.
That is the definition of a saga.
Yes. But here's why I chose this. So there are 2 planets at war. It's in outer space, another
course.
galaxy far, far away.
Okay.
There are 2 planets at war.
Real quick, is there ever a galaxy that's real close? Is that ever a thing? No?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we just
okay.
haven't heard any stories from
Okay,
them yet.
right.
Yeah, it's too close. Too close.
Fertile ground for writing. Okay. All right. I'm just going to tuck that away.
Yep,
Continue.
tuck it
All
away.
right.
So these 2 planets at war, they've been at war for forever. And it's this kind of war where one side has completely dehumanized the other, right? And it's spread throughout the galaxy, kind of like when America and the USSR were fighting the Cold War in other countries like Vietnam and in Africa and everything. So into this world is Marco and Alana. They are on the 2 opposite sides of the war, but they meet at a POW camp and they fall in love. They get married. They have a baby named Hazel. All of these things are completely unheard of, completely illegal. They want to completely erase this family from existence because if they somehow show that this is even possible, this is bad, bad news.
Okay.
So they are hunted constantly. One of the best things is it starts in the moment that she gives birth. And pretty much right after that, they are on the run.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're hunted by bounty hunters, by, there's these robot people with TVs for heads that are the royalty. They're hunted by the royalty. They're hunted by every kind of alien you could imagine. And the novels take us through, like I said, 56 issues. There's 56 more to come. The baby grows. Right now, Hazel is like 5 years old. But why I choose this too is that the family is continually separated. There's a lot because of everyone after them. There's, kidnappings and everything. And the struggle is always to come back together. When they do come back together, it's wonderful, it's great, but also it's all fraught with all the things that have happened while they've been gone, and the idea that they have to keep justifying their family to themselves. Even as Marco and Alana are going through marital troubles, they're, just trying to be like normal parents and everything. They are constantly worried about surviving for their child, as well as still being in love with that other person after fighting so hard to be with that person. So it's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's a beautiful story, it's beautiful art, all about family. Come for the robot men, if nothing else.
Right.
Come for some real, just ridiculous, amazing storylines that will have you laughing, will have you crying.
Oh.
Everything.
Let me ask you a question about graphic novels, because I've read some, but I haven't, dove into that territory too richly. It seems to me like there's almost two ways you could read it. Like you could read it just straight through story. Yes. It's got pictures, the whole deal. But then it also seems like, especially when you talk about some of your picks, that they're real, they could be very deep. Like there's some real symbolism that you could miss. You'd almost have to read it multiple times, like just when you said, people with TVs for heads are royalty, it makes you think a lot of celebrity, things like that.
There's so much built in, all these different allegories about it. It's obviously in like I said, another galaxy, another world, but there's so much allegory for what we are living in right now. Our current society, current politics, current, social policies, everything. So there is a lot of I have to read it multiple times because I tear through it the first time.
Sure.
And so if you read it multiple times, you get all
that other stuff. Yeah.
Huh. It's wonderful though.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a whole different type of writing, really, when you think about it.
It really is. And it's amazing to me because it is that combination of visual and the writing itself. It's something I could never do. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Really talented people that
Very
do that.
talented
Oh my
people.
gosh.
Yeah. Wow. What do you got, Erin?
Well, my other pick this week is called Calypso by David Sedaris. And I did, I believe I recommended him in our very first show, his very first book. But there's a very specific reason I chose this one. This one was published in 2018. I am a longtime fan of his. I've read all of his essay collections. From the very first essay I ever read of his, I was in love. He does such a good job of infusing humor into either serious situations or things that you've never even thought of before. And I think that if you read anything by him, you would go into this book thinking it's going to be a certain thing, and it's really not. It is very different for him in that it's humorous. Obviously, there's still some of the, typical astute observations that no one else would come up with. But the whole book centers around this idea that he is buying a vacation property on Emerald Isle on the North Carolina coast. And so his whole idea is that they vacationed there when they were young, his siblings and his parents. And so he wants to kind of recreate this memory, have a place that his adult siblings can come to. His mom has passed, but that his dad, they can have family holidays there. They can have the tradition of the summer vacation there. So in and out of this time period that the book takes place is him going there, finding the rental house. They decide to name the house. They name it C-section, by the way. And then, the struggles, just what's going on in his family while they're there. But it's a very, I don't want to say dark, but it's a very different David Sedaris.
What we're used to.
It's much more introspective. It's much more reflective. One of his sisters, his sister Tiffany, we know by this time has committed suicide. And so there's a lot of his siblings trying to make sense of that, make sense of their role in that, make sense of how do they put that to bed and move on? How does their dad, who's very, very elderly at this point, deal with that? How do they make sense of their past history as a family, wrongs that they've done to each other? But it's all centered around them getting together as a family and being at this place. So it's very definitely tied into the family gathering theme, and it's typical David Sedaris in the humor, but there's so much more going on here. And I walked away with a much more heavy feeling almost from this book, which was different for him, but he also did that amazingly well. So I think it was a great departure for him. There's an essay in there from he gets a Fitbit and he becomes a slave to it. He can't it's never enough.
I've read that.
It's hilarious. So you go from that to, learning more about how his sister committed suicide. I mean, and the way he weaves it all together is really expertly done.
Wow.
And one of the really cool moments. So I bought this book and I didn't know, but I bought it. It said autographed edition, right?
Yeah.
So if you open up, which I had him autograph one of my other books when I saw
Okay.
it live, but there is an autograph in it. And there's an essay in the book where he talks about having to sit and sign multiple blank pages.
So meta.
Yeah.
Wow.
That they were going to put in books. And I was like, what? And then I flipped when I was reading that and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's talking about one of the pages that's in my book. So I was pretty impressed.
So you said you have had him autographed.
I
in
did.
person.
In
What'd you have him
person.
autograph?
When You're Engulfed in Flames. And he wrote, it was after he was at here in Des Moines speaking, and I waited in line, and he was being given dinner at the same time. And so he had broke a piece of bread. And so he drew a little picture of bread and he wrote, "We broke bread together, Aaron." And then wrote David.
Oh my
God.
God.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it. If you ever go see him live, you will wait in line a long time if you're waiting for an autograph, but it's because he engages with every person in some
fantastic.
very unique way. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is just a very interesting person.
Wow.
That's speaking of our first question, a family reunion of his would be
Oh my
because
goodness.
Amy Sedaris
Sedaris,
is his sister.
Who is an utter delight.
Yes.
So weird and random.
Yeah, and those two together, some of the stuff they do, terrific.
Excellent.
Terrific.
Wow. You could have turned that story and of him autographing and from those very lines that he wrote, you could have told people yeah, we had dinner together. We had this.
Yeah, I know. I could have, but
so you really undersold the story here.
I did, but I feel like
you wanted to be honest. You didn't want to. Okay.
I feel like I'm the type of person that that would blow up in my face horribly. Someone I would say that and they're like, "Really? He's my uncle." I was I had dinner with him that night when he was in Des Moines.
You
weren't there.
Dinner. Yeah,
you don't get invited every dinner. He told me about you. You're not his favorite.
See, that's what you do. You turn it. You turn
just
it
cover
around.
your tracks by being mean, and people don't know what to do.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's just a life philosophy.
Yeah, it's a good plan, I think. Yeah. So as it turns out, I did have dinner with David Sedaris, and it was delightful.
You did.
Yeah.
Did he give you any of the bread that he broke?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
He asked,
that's
I
fair.
think, actually.
Did he really?
Yeah. I think he did. Now that I think it, yeah.
You're like, oh no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It was
Hell
amazing.
of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The book is just, I loved it. I loved it for a lot of reasons because it's typical him. And I don't want to say that if you're a big fan of his, then you'd be afraid of it or something, that it's not the same. There is so much of him still in there. It's just really cool to see a different side of him.
Sure. Yeah.
And centered around family.
Yeah.
And especially his is very interesting. So it was great.
It's good to see someone so talented in all the different areas of writing.
Yeah. And I've never wanted to go to someplace so bad. Emerald Isle?
Yeah.
Why
I
does
thought
that
actually
sound
that
so
sounded
mystical?
like a joke.
Yeah.
Sounds like, Wizard of Oz or something. But yeah.
Sounds amazing.
It does. It kind of sounds Irish.
Yeah.
Or like an American version of Irish.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyway.
What else?
So pop culture picks.
Do it.
I picked an music album called Tommy by The Who. This is
Oh.
not David Bowie. I saw the look on your face. You were like, oh, music, here it comes. What are we going to do?
album.
No.
Okay.
I'm surprising you here. So let me tell you something, Erin. This is not going to surprise you. I was a weird kid.
What?
Yeah. And I was kind of a weirder teen.
Nothing has ever indicated that. I don't know.
And I went to a school starting in 8th grade through 12th grade, half-time, really for nerds. I mean, we were all just nerds, right?
Good for you.
Yeah. But one thing that
Was
nerds
it Hogwarts?
loved... No.
Okay.
I wish it was.
Right?
But one thing us nerds loved was music. And this was pre-internet, so we would just be passing around mixtapes, cassette tapes. We'd be telling each other stories about, for some reason we were all obsessed with 60s and 70s music. It was kind of our parents' generation. I don't know what it really was, but I learned so much from all those nerds about music. And somewhere around 14 or 15, I discovered this album from one of them. And it is a rock opera. It is a concept album. It's like a musical. It was made in 1969. And it's all about a family gathering gone terribly wrong.
Didn't your book start in 1969 too?
It did.
Look at you.
This is 50 years ago.
Look at you being all connecting it.
Yeah, I totally intended that.
I know you did.
Yeah,
I can tell by your face.
obviously. So the album starts with a woman giving birth just as she's learned that her husband is MIA and assumed dead in this war. We're kind of thinking it's World War II.
Okay.
After a few years, she remarries, and then one night Papa comes home, and there is a murder, and the young boy Tommy, who's like 4 or 5 by this point, sees it. But the parents tell him, you didn't see it, you didn't hear it, you won't say nothing to no one ever in your life. And in true musical fashion, he becomes deaf, dumb, and blind as a result of this family gathering.
Sure, okay,
So,
okay.
then over the years, Mom and Dad try to cure him. They've realized, we may have effed him up a little bit by
Good
this.
on them for...
So they try to cure him with drugs, with quack doctors, faith healers, really a whole slew of bad characters.
Okay.
But then one day as an adult, he is cured. And he becomes a rock star and a cult leader. Because why wouldn't you?
Obviously.
And he brings the family along
That's
as like
the perfect
the
origin
leaders
story.
of the cult. Yeah. So this is all about family drama.
Okay.
Family shit gone terribly wrong. But then it's the gateway to all these crazy songs and things that are happening. Like each of those instances of trying to cure him with drugs, with quack doctors, everything is a separate song, a separate scenario that you see. It's wonderful. There's the original album, which is performed by The Who, and it was performed live at Woodstock and other concerts around that time. There's also a 1975 movie, which is trippy as all hell. It's got Anne Margaret, Tina Turner, Eric Clapton, Jack Nicholson, Oliver Reed, Elton John as the Pinball Wizard. It is glorious, but it is also truly nightmarish. Like there are some images I've never quite gotten over in my life.
Okay.
There was also, I think in the 90s and maybe the early thousands, there was a stage show as well. I never saw that. I imagine it was great. It had a lot of good material to work from.
Sure.
I'm sure it's awesome. But either the album itself or the movie, I highly recommend just to say that you've seen it, just to really see a family gathering gone terribly wrong and to feel better about yourself.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Because I guarantee you, this has probably not happened to you. If it has, I'm really sorry. And I want to talk to you about it and see if this happened as well and if we can make a rock album about it.
Yes is the answer to all those questions. I'm on board, 100%.
Yeah. How surprised were you that this was not a David Bowie reference?
I mean, a little bit surprised.
Okay.
I think I kind of, when you said music, I went there and then I was like, no, she wouldn't, because she's got this weird thing about not wanting to do it too much, which is the true sign of like a very obsessed fan of trying to rein themselves in little bit. Yeah.
Just so you know, this was my David Bowie before David Bowie. The Who was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was real into this. Like as a teenager, I can't quite convey how obsessed I was with this story. And I don't really know why, to be honest. It's real effed up.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it just hit me at a perfect moment. And
yeah.
I've had a love for it ever since.
Just related and there it went.
I related to the kid that saw his parents kill somebody and went deaf, dumb, and blind.
Now I have questions. For
the record, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Because I was just going to ask what the Pinball Wizard wore. That's all I was going to ask about that.
Well,
I wasn't going to ask about the murder.
In this movie, Elton John wears platform boots.
Yes.
Also, Tina Turner is called the Acid Queen. And she tries to give drugs to Tommy, among other things, to cure him.
Tina.
It's
What's
wonderful.
love got to do with it?
She's a real freak in this. It's wonderful.
I like it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Enlightening. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, mine couldn't be farther away.
I saw you like trying to reach for a transition. Like, nope, nothing there.
No.
Okay, let's just hard pivot.
No. Okay. It only relates in the fact that it takes place in a different decade. But,
okay, great. Yeah.
So I'm going to recommend a sitcom that I love and I think is great. And the reason I'm doing it in this thing is because it's a great family sitcom. You could have a family gathering, no matter the age of your children, and watch this.
Oh, okay.
It's called
this is practical.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called The Goldbergs.
Okay.
It started in 2013, and it's a family sitcom centered around the Goldberg family that lives in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania in the 1980s. So mom, dad, 3 kids, and it's hilarious. If you have any recollection of the 80s, you're going to love it because they have done that to perfection. Excellent. The shows, the things that they love, everything is, you'll just, every time you watch it, be like, oh my gosh, I remember that. So for that alone, it's great for the parents, but it's also very appropriate. They keep everything appropriate, so you don't have to worry if you have younger kids. Both of our younger boys love it because it's hilarious, and we never feel bad about watching it. But really, I'm underselling it when I say that. I was almost a little afraid to use that as a selling point, which is kind of sad because I think then sometimes people think, oh, it's not going to be very funny if kids, but it's actually really funny. And part of the reason is because one of my favorite female actors, Wendy McClendon-Covey of Reno 911, Bridesmaids, plenty of other fantastic movies, plays the mother. And you have never met a mother like Beverly Goldberg. Or if you have, you're probably in therapy. But she is... put the mother in smother. She is amazing. Okay. And the character she plays, I can't get enough of. She's hilarious. Just the sweaters she wears on the show is enough to watch it. Yeah. So great character by her. I've always loved her as an actress, and I think this is another great example of her range. It's just really funny. There's a lot of great cameos in it, and you just really like it for that.
I like it.
It's just one you could watch in between, here and there. And honestly, you wouldn't even necessarily have to watch it in like a linear fashion. I mean, some of the characters are recurring and stuff, but each episode is kind of its own little story and its own little humorous thing. And yeah, you'll love it.
I can see that working too with I don't know about you, but thinking about the 80s even makes me think about family because it was when we grew up. So yes, that is definitely
and so many of the things like the struggle, the dad of the family doesn't understand the youngest son, Adam, because he's so into his action figures and movies. So he's always going to the new latest movie that's out, which makes you laugh and think about it. And the whole thing is set up as Adam Goldberg, the youngest in the family, is looking back and telling you the stories of his family. And Patton Oswalt is the narrator that does that. Yeah. So it's very interesting. What is also great is that at the end of every episode, they show you clips of actual home videos of the creator, Adam Goldberg. This is his legit family.
Oh my gosh.
Most of the stories are real stories from his childhood. And they show you a clip of the video that him and his friends made or his family made, and then they'll show you side by side with the actor doing it. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so cool. A kid that obviously grew up videotaping everything, wanting to do that, wanting to make movies, and then made this incredibly successful sitcom that took all of his family stuff and put it out there. I mean, all of his family gatherings gone awry, he made into a sitcom.
Ooh, I wonder how his family reunions are.
Yeah, you have to. Well, they have them on, his parents on.
Really?
Siblings say stuff all the time at the end, they'll be watching the clip or whatever, and yeah, it's.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. It really is good.
Okay,
so
let me try that.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. So
lots of families.
Yeah,
lots of gatherings gone awry.
Yes.
Yeah, but I like it all.
I do too.
Yeah,
so good.
Well, I think that does it for this episode.
It does.
We will be back next Wednesday, but in the meantime, head to our website, broadsandbooks.com, and check out all the recommendations we made in this episode.
Also, you can find some amazing bonus material.
Does amazing really cover it, though?
No, it's like the VIP buffet of our episodes.
I mean, you can actually choose, like in a buffet, you can choose all of the options, and they are VIP.
They are VIP. Exactly. So one of the things that we're working on for this extras area is taking some stories that people want to know about us.
Yeah.
Heavesgate's one of them, how we met. So if you have something, a question related to Amy and I, we'll answer it in a bonus episode.
Yes, we will.
Talk about motivation.
Story time.
Better than a watermelon cup.
Better than all that honeydew crap. Get out of here, cantaloupe. So what we would love in exchange for all this amazing material, we don't ask for much.
No.
All we ask, give us a rating or a review. And wherever you're listening to this right now, at this moment, whatever podcast player, wherever you are, you can leave a rating, you can leave a few words about how much you love us, how much you hate honeydew as well, and how we just really hit that nail on the head.
We did.
Yeah.
We took out a whole fruit group. I love it.
It's like when you took out Sno-Caps.
Done.
Right?
And now they're not in the movie theater.
Nope. You annihilated
I haven't seen
it.
one since.
So I'm waiting to see Fruit Caps without that friggin' honeydew.
Fruit caps. I
Fruit
like it.
Cups.
I was like, wait, what? They combined them?
Oh, that
I've
sounds
done something terrible.
You've created a monster.
That sounds exactly like something that would happen to me.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Well, I mean, besides the reveal and the weird fruit and the weird movie snacks, you might also have a great theme idea.
Oh, boy.
And we've had some of these.
We have.
We love them.
We love them so much. Yeah.
We just recorded number 4 not that long ago.
Yeah.
Of
We've
theme
got
ideas.
another one coming.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Delightful.
Yes. So you can submit us a theme idea. Bring it.
No.
And you can do that by finding us at Twitter, Instagram, our website, Facebook. You'll find us everywhere. We're not hiding, as Erin has said multiple times.
Yeah, no, we're hiding in plain sight.
We're hiding.
We're right here. Watermelons and all. Until then, happy reading.
I'm up again. Same night, another dream. Before trying this recording thing, I didn't remember much of anything of these dreams. I didn't remember much from any of the women. And one night of doing this, and it's broken things open. The dreams they're in me, and they're coming out of me, and
Talk to me. I am not broken. I am the most whole, most real.
cause their despair. I cause their despair. I wait for the word. I wait for the word. Witch. Witch. Witch.
Look at the mad woman in her cage. She was a woman with holes inside her. That was the heaviest factor, the final evidence, the heart of the issue.
Somehow, you understand this. You hear me. Wherever you are, whatever this is, you... This isn't a dream journal anymore. It's not. It's just fact. Because now this is some sort of record. What are these dreams? Maybe there's a better question. Who are these women? Weird Woman is a Broads and Books production. All 9 episodes are available January 10th. Listen and subscribe to Weird Woman on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform. That's WYRD Woman, wherever you listen to podcasts.